Hello my friends, welcome to Honest Violets. Today we're talking about ferns. We will be talking about watering, humidity, how not to kill them, and how actually to keep them happy. So the most important things will be humidity and... Hey everyone, I'm Anna, and on this channel we're talking about plants and gardening. So if you're into plants, if you like growing plants, or you just plan to start to grow plants, then maybe you can consider subscribing to this channel and click on the bell button, on the like button, share the video with your friends, and we are talking about plants all week. And today I want to talk to you about these different types of ferns. Well, first of all, let me introduce them. This is Nephrolepis, this is a Boston Fern, this one is Staghorn fern or Platycerium, and this one is Asplenium, which is also called bird nest. And their conditions, their care is more or less the same. Alright, let's start from the light. All these plants are growing in the forest, deep in the forest where they don't receive direct sunlight. And this means that you need to grow them somewhere where you have very bright light, but they don't receive direct sunlight, because direct sunlight can cause actually damage to your plants and the leaves can get burned. So try to make sure that they are not in the shade in a very bright area, but also not directly under the sun. Well, as for the watering, they like to stay moist all the time, not too wet, because in this case they can also get easily rotten. However, you need to keep the soil always moist, not dry. So with this type of fern, it's really easy to see the soil, and I can touch it, feel it when it's dry, then I can water it. When it's not dry, a little bit moist, I can still wait for a couple of days. With this one, it's also easier to see because here I can also see the soil, I can touch it slightly. So I can figure out when to water this one as well. With these ones, well, now this one I can just move a little bit the leaves and I will see the soil. However, these tend to grow into really big plants, and sometimes they will cover the whole surface of the soil, and you will not be able to touch it or to open the leaves and see what's going on with the soil. However, with this type of plants, you can measure kind of the pot, and you will already know if your pot is too heavy, then most probably the soil is still wet, then you wait. But if your pot is really light compared to what it used to be, then most probably the soil is dry, and that's already the time to water it. Now, how to water it? Well, these plants are in the ceramic pots. They are actually in plastic pots. You can remove your plants from the ceramic pot if you grow just like this. You can either submerge them into water for just a couple of minutes and then take it out, or you can just directly water it from here. I would not recommend watering from the saucer, because then the water will be absorbed maybe to half of the pot, and the rest of the roots will be still dry and they will not get the humidity that they need. Yeah, and so I think you should water it from the soil. And then you can put your plant back into the ceramic pot, because I always try to keep my plants, like I grow them in plastic pots with drainage holes, but then they are also in the ceramic pots, and the excess of water can go into ceramic pots, and I can easily remove the excess of water, not harming the plants, so they're not sitting in water all the time. Alright, as for air humidity, it's so important for these plants. I think the air humidity is, number one requirement for these plants, because if you water it properly, if you put it in a bright place without direct sunlight, however, if the air is too dry, then the leaves will still get dry, especially the tips. They will not feel happy. So the air humidity is something that you should really consider. So if you have dry climate, or if the area, your space where you're growing these plants, you know that the air humidity is not that high, well, first of all, you can spray them. And let me show how to do it. I have here my water. How I spray it, I don't go too close to the plants, but I do from a little bit of distance, just like this, so that the air around the plants is humid. Besides that, what you can do is you can use a humidifier. If you have a lot of plants, then maybe you can put your humidifier around or in the middle of your plants actually, and then several plants will have this humid air. Or even if you're not using a humidifier, but if you put your plants next to your other plants, in general, the evaporation from the soil can cause already this humid environment around your plant. But if this is not enough, then use a humidifier and spray. And besides that, you can grow these plants in your bathrooms where the air humidity is very high. However, you need to make sure that you have a window there. If you don't have a window, if they don't receive light at all, they will suffer and they will not grow. Actually, these plants can grow into really huge plants very fast. So you can also sometimes prune them. So for example, some of the bottom leaves will be a little bit dry or not so beautiful anymore, and pruning is basically just removing these dry leaves, and that's absolutely normal and that's absolutely natural. Well, for example, this one I can remove, and you just cut it from the bottom. That's how you remove it. Nothing else is needed for these plants. And it's actually so easy to grow these plants if you consider these three things. Water them properly, air humidity, very high level of air humidity, and also you can, spray them, and indirect sunlight. This is it for these plants. Don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell button, like button, subscribe. Write all your questions in the comments or share your experiences with us, and stay passionate about plants. See you next time.